Hi, Jill.
Hi.
First of all, I just saw your post, so thank you for promoting this.
Of course, honey.
I
Anytime.
love you. I
You're the
love
best.
you, Jillian, for so many reasons. First of all, I know you're going through a hard time right now, so thank you for still doing it.
Of course.
How are you
Thank you.
feeling?
Well, yes, it's so hard this is a person I worked with for so long. And did you meet Loren Ruch as well?
So I'm trying to remember because I was an intern for you guys at Good Day LA in 2000 and it was about 99 to 2000. Was he your assistant at that time?
Okay, he was producer who did all the corny, fun segments that I would get slapped with. And we made them so cheesy and we had so much fun together. We became very good friends off air, so much so that he tried to help me find my birth family. And he became a big part. I became a big part of his family because his mother ran like an electrolysis facial. So I used to go to Tarzana all the time, do all this, and then drive back down to Huntington Beach. So I got to know Dolly really well. Ended up moving to Tarzana mainly because it was the area I knew. He grew up there. I ended up finding my birth family. He goes to New York at HGTV. He's the number 2. Like, he has moved on up. Right. And because they shoot so many of their shows in Toronto, he becomes very close to my sister, Amy. So she had a rough day. I cried for 3 days. Today's the first day that I talked to his mom yesterday. And I think that helped me so much in my soul, just helped me. Like, I'm going to see her Thursday night and Friday night. We're going to sit shivas. I can't wait with the gays. The gay shivas.
The gay shiva. I heard you said you're going to Temple for the first time.
I'm going to Temple too. Yes.
Let me tell you, I was forced as a kid. And that was miserable for me because I don't like any house of worship for me personally, but
I get it.
But there is something comforting about it if it wasn't shoved down your throat as a child, you know?
I get it. It's like me. I grew up Catholic and same thing. So I always say, well, now I'm spiritual, but I'm open to everyone's religion. And that's just kind of who I am. So I'm excited to go for Loren and to learn. And I'm just happy that I'm going to, see his cousins that I haven't seen in a while since Loren's 50th. It was a real shocker. Yeah, he was a good guy. His name's Loren Ruch. He grew up here and he did very well. I think he was a producer on Good Day LA for a number of years. And then he had an opportunity to go to HGTV. And I was like, please, it's like a gay man's paradise. And he's like, I know. And then, so his first job was in Tennessee. And then he moved to New York. Yeah. I was at his wedding. His dad officiated his wedding to David. I did speak with David just on text.
Did you know he was sick?
What's that?
Did you know he was sick?
Yes, we both had cancer. He had cancer towards the end of my treatment. His was blood cancer. His was a rare blood cancer, but he got a full body blood transfusion, which means you stay in the hospital for months. Yeah. And all of the blood essentially, it is hardcore. He gets home. He's so happy to be home. Mm-hmm. He looks like he's aged 25 years because he's been through hell. Right. But he's cancer-free and he catches pneumonia.
It's unbelievable.
He died from pneumonia. And that, I think, just breaks my heart.
And he was so young, in the middle of his life, thriving. And that's got to be so. And I'm sure on some level, it must feel personal to you. Not only was he your friend for so long, but you went through your own cancer battle and came out the other side, and you're so strong and healthy. I wonder.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. It's got to be harder for you to watch this whole thing.
100%. And also saying like he was such a unicorn. He was such a different kind of a person that being his friend was one thing, but you see all these condolences and they're like, he was the best boss ever. And I'm like, oh gosh, that's right. He was so high up at HGTV. If you see it on HGTV, he put it on the air, Mm-hmm. He was incredible. And also I think a little bit of guilt, like why, and I have had that before. Like I talk to a lot of people with cancer who've lost children with cancer, and I cry. I'm like, it just isn't fair. Like, why God chooses some of us and others no, and it just seems unfair. But there's always a lesson. I wake up so grateful every single day to have even what I have. So, and Adrianna, it's a good message, and it's not just like spiritually. I've never felt more filled. Financially, I've never been more, broke. But spiritually, I'm so enlightened and also free from a horrible marriage I was in. Although it continues, it never ends. You just can't. But Ruby's 18 now, so she's
Yeah. And Ruby is Ruby's leaving, isn't she?
Yeah.
So I mean, not trying to pile it all on at once, but how are you doing with that? Because this is like you raised your kids from being babies all by yourself, virtually.
It's funny you say that because I'm a very transparent person. So yes, I did have them for 10 years by myself in Tarzana without child support. Finally got child support. I've had it for about 3 years. But my son did move up to live with his dad, which I fully said, you are going to be 13. I believe a boy needs a man. And I don't date. I've never brought a man home. It's been 10 years since I just don't date. Mm-hmm. So I wanted him to have that experience, obviously, and he goes up there. And so I just got a legal letter yesterday that he wants sole custody of my son, who's 15. I'm like, okay, I've been too nice. Even in my divorce papers, it said if a person moves, they have to tell the other person. He fucking moved 10 and a half hours away. And I did nothing. Like, I didn't know that was I didn't sit and read it because I'm a whatever person. I'm a type B.
Your ex moved without telling you, and your son was with him.
No, my son was with me at first.
And I see. Okay.
And then moved up there.
Okay, moved. I'm sorry. I thought he moved since.
Yeah.
So now he wants legal custody. And so do you have to go back to court for that?
Yes, I do. And guess who can't afford a lawyer? Beep, bop. But I'm just going to be as honest as I can and say, when I had them for 10 years, I never asked for sole custody, even though they were with me all the time. I never did. I just assumed as a decent human being, as I am, And so when he got married and had a kid, her family lives up there. So they're 10 and a half hours away. So I said to the kids, go up there because I don't have family in this country. Please go and enjoy yourselves and have Christmas. It's called, people say too nice, too naive. And when I don't have an agenda, but when someone else does, you have to be on the lookout. So this came as a little bit of a shock. And I've got to get all this paperwork together for him. Like, I don't know what you want to see.
If there's one thing I hate in life, it's paperwork. I swear there were times
I'm the worst at paperwork
ever. I almost walked out the door and I was like, wait, but I'm going to have to file this and that. Oh. And I'm not doing it.
I'm horrible. You should see my papers are all bunched up. And say hi to Adrianna.
Hi.
Hi, Ruby.
So sorry.
How are you? So cute. Wait, so did she graduate high school just now?
Yes, I did.
Where did you go?
Oaks Christian.
Jillian. That's a hard school to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good school.
Where are you going to college?
Southern Oregon University.
Oh, excellent.
And guess what she's taking?
Broadcasting, of course.
Nope.
Criminology.
Oh, wow. Well, that. I mean, you've got kind of a leg up because your mom's so involved with the whole right tape.
What can I say?
That's amazing. It's so nice to meet you and talk to you.
It's good to meet you too.
I love your hair. She hates her hair wavy. She's got the best hair.
I'm about to wash it.
Oh God, it's so pretty. Okay, bye.
Jillian, I want to start because I know we started with all this like really heavy stuff, but also you are so tough as nails and so full of heart. And I just have to tell you without fawning over you. I mean, I grew up, as a kid in LA, and I know you hear it a lot, but I would play hooky from school going like that job, what she does, that's what I want to do. So in all of middle school, I must have missed 100 days of school watching you and Steve and Dorothy.
Yeah.
Just thinking, like they've completely revolutionized the game as morning TV hosts. And you were a meteorologist, but you would get up there in those tight little outfits and saunter around and
have fun.
And you were and still are the most hilarious. So you kind of have perfected this cross section of being like hot as hell and still like a comedian and irreverent.
Well,
And
that's funny you say that, because I always looked at myself as funny. And when people would say, oh, like, do you want to be in Maxim or something? I go, why? Like, I could never understand. Just from a girl from Canada, nobody says, like, Canadians are just very fucking different. We're not brought up to be beauty queens or just look a certain way or get plastic surgery. It's just not fucking done. I'm sure it is now. I don't know, Toronto, maybe it's huge. I don't know. But parents stay together. My parents are 87, gray, my mom, together. No,
right.
no.
But what you're saying is they look 87.
100%. And all
Right,
their
they're
friends.
not exactly.
And so I never really looked at it like that. And the people that I did know that were sexy, that's what, like, I was friends with Carmen Electra, Pam Anderson. That was their job. So for me in the news, if people thought I was sexy, I was like, what? After a while, I did get in a lot of trouble for it too, from bosses. But then I learned, it's so much easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission, because they're always going to say no, no, no. But once you get the ratings and things are going great, you realize, okay, well, I'm not going to do it. I did not do Playboy though. I wish I would have. I would have had $1 million in my bank.
But you know what? You literally were a pioneer. Everybody who came after you in this field turned to you. If they wanted to be like the hot entertainment chick, you were sort of the prototype of what we were supposed to be.
I think, people like, it's weird. I was talking to Lisa Guerrero, who's a really good friend of mine, and she also sort of pioneered that in the male-dominated sports world, which was very hard for her. And then she got a Monday Night Football. Then they ripped her a new one. She did one episode, one night, and got a name wrong. And they were just really jumping.
Oh, for sure. Sports is a different beast. You know that. You have to know it. You can't just half-ass that.
No, and she knows her sports like anything, and just fumbled the name, whatever. No big fucking deal, but they jumped on her. She did work at the Best Damn Sports Show and knew more than most of the guys. And she's always been able to, then she worked Inside Edition. She did do Playboy. So she really crossed the line and pioneered for, like, she's still a respectable journalist, although she left Inside Edition. So yay. But my point is that I guess I never really tried to be anything but myself. And I'm still the same way. I've learned a lot though in life. And that's why I have a great group of women around me and amazing gay friends and amazing kids. And just everything in between is such a blessing. Like, I wake up every day and I don't have to, like, there's no property taxes. I just have to pay my rent. And when the kids are grown, I can leave and, go and maybe go back to Canada, or because my money's worth more up there,
Is that what it is? Because I've listened to every podcast you've been on. So I was listening to you on Rachel Yucatel. By the way, she's amazing too. I had no idea.
Who did you have?
I heard you on Rachel Yucatel's show.
She is fantastic.
She really is. Like, she's really good at this job. I remember I was at Extra years ago and they used her. And I thought, like, well, she's not a journalist, but listening to the interview, I thought, God, she's really good. And then on Army's show. But what I noticed amongst, like, the three of you, especially you and Army talking about it, is that you guys have, had your, like, highest highs and then the lowest lows. And here you are, and you're in an apartment now, which you've talked about openly, but you say you're happier than ever. He says in his 200-foot apartment, he's happier than ever. And what is it sort of about that? Because you hear it over and over from people, right? Like, you don't need all the big stuff to feel most fulfilled.
100% that. And I feel like, okay, are there things that I miss about that home that I so beautifully curated in Tarzana? It took me 23 years to get my dream kitchen, and then I moved. I never even used it. But it was glamorous with the shoe closet, and I had so many shoots there. But more importantly than all that bullshit was that's where the kids learned to swim. The guest house is where they'd have their crazy sleepovers. Those are the things that I miss. A home, like a house is the four, walls and all of that, but the home is the love that you put into it. So I always told the kids when we were moving, this is an adventure in life. You're going to go on so many adventures. I hope you go on as many as me. I mean, I moved to another country when I was 22. I didn't know anyone in the United States, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just had a great time. And I just been doing it ever since. And some hard times in between, but that's what life is about. And I will face this next round of this court thing, whatever. And I will just say, I don't have a lawyer, and I hope, my son wants to see me. I don't know what the soul support thing is, but I do. I know what it's about, ownership and
power,
and also fucking me over, but that's okay. I like that painting behind you.
Oh, this one, really? This is a cheapie. You should.
Huh?
This is like a cheapie from, I don't know, World Market or something, but look at this one. Ready?
You get great stuff there. Oh, your house is fat. Oh my God, who did that?
This is, I want to say his name is Pedro Velez. Wait, is that right? I shouldn't.
Okay, that is fabulous.
I know, but there's the hoo-ha in it. So I was like, well, maybe
Good
I'll
for
just be
you.
a little more respectful.
Can I show you my latest?
Yes, I want to see everything.
You're so okay. Well, this is old.
Oh, and I want to buy one of your pieces of art, by the way.
You are too much.
I want to. Oh, your house looks so good.
You're so sweet. Okay, so my silver series, I had to do very plain over here, very plain over there, because I actually have a huge TV behind this. I'm not finished yet.
Oh, but are you painting that one right now?
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
I'm out of my black paint. I need more black. I'm doing a study so that whole other side, let me see if I can do this properly. Can I switch I am so bad at this. No. Okay. It's a study in this will all be nothing. It's going to be blank. And the other side is going to be, it's called Black Amaryllis. It's really going to, it's my first piece. I think it's 7 feet. But listen, here's why I love my house. Amazon fireplace. Totally did it myself.
It looks gorgeous. I mean, you're hugely into. Oh, I have that piece too. You're into design though. You say you look at it all the time, right? That's like your new happy thing.
It's my happy place. 100%. Yes, I will. My daughter will come home and I'll go, what do you think about this? She's like, Mom, I wouldn't know. You move everything every day. I go, yes, I do.
It looks so good in there.
You're so sweet. Thank you. I have really good lighting. So I have lighting that come up behind the pillars but you know what I do? I paint a lot. Like that bust over there. It's just that $50 one from CB2, and I painted it black. This was from my mom and dad. My dad gave this to my mom. It used to be ivory and wood, and it turned like an ugly yellow. So I painted it black and I glued it onto a marble pillar. And people are like, oh my God, but didn't you want to keep it? No, my dad's an artist. And my mom wasn't, but my dad was. And so I think he would appreciate, you know what I mean? Like it's me and him. We work together in our art.
I remember you were doing it on Good Day LA even. You were doing all these DIY projects towards the end. I think you had the babies. And you'd be like, look at what I did. I've got this new nightstand and I'm going to paint it. Right? Weren't you doing it on the show for a while?
What's that?
Weren't you doing it on the show for a while?
Yeah. I think what we did, especially with Style Thought, was just kind of go and do, it was Carlota Espinosa, who was my producer at the time. And we would go and do everything from fashion to food to art. And it got me, and in fact, I met a gentleman who bought a painting I did, and he wants to turn it into a carpet. And I was like, that would be fabulous. So we're going to meet with him soon. I know, it's just weird stuff, right? Life opens up some crazy doors. And so how have you found your balance? Because you have 2 beautiful kids, handsome husband. How are you doing it?
There's no balance. There's no balance. It's called Lexapro. And I mean that seriously because I'm really hard on myself. I think like a lot of us are. We take on a lot. And then all of a sudden I sort of have a delayed reaction and I get this weird anxiety, which manifests for me as depersonalization. So I feel like I'm floating above myself.
Oh, honey.
Have you ever had that?
I'm on Effexor and Wellbutrin.
Yeah.
One isn't enough.
Listen, and the thing is, whatever works for people, it also helps me to be outside and to take walks and to downshift in my life. But there's no balance. It's because the second I think things are good and I'm feeling busy and I'm feeling like I'm on top of it as a mom, it's like all of a sudden this explosion happens and I'm not taking care of myself enough so I try to do what I can. A lot of shit falls through the cracks. And then
I get it. It's called as a woman, I think, we really go through it. And I think the whole idea of being equal, and that all is awesome because I came up with, equal rights and And then when I got divorced, I had to pay my first husband alimony. I didn't have kids with him. And he was a Major League ball player. And here's why
that happened.
Well, I call it the Halle Berry experience. So Halle Berry, she was married to a ball player too, and mine and hers played against each other. She actually caught him in bed with another woman and still had to pay him alimony. So mine wasn't as bad as that. But basically, if you marry in California, whoever supports the marriage supports the divorce. So I'm assuming they were doing what I was doing. Halle's movies were paying for their mortgage, their lifestyle, his ball player money, and he made more than my ex. He was like one of the big guys, would go in account for their retirement, for.
Oh, right.
And so what it is, and people don't realize, it's like, it's an equation, and the money goes into like a machine of some sort. It literally, it's a machine, and it could come out. You pay $4,000 a month for half the time you're married, or mine could have gone up to $14,000 a month for half the time you're married. So I was married 7 years, so I paid him alimony for 3.5 years, and I was lucky. I got like $5,000 a month. So
where is he now, Jill?
I knew that he was teaching a baseball school in Valencia, and then I heard that he had a horrible motorcycle accident, and I didn't even know he rode motorcycles. So there was a GoFundMe, and I talked about it, was hoping to get people to go, but I have not spoken to him. This current one I haven't talked to in 8 years almost. There's no talking. No talking.
It's just unbelievable to me, like, especially because you went through cancer, and I think you said his sister.
Oh, he didn't tell his family. Yeah,
right. And nobody. It's the weirdest thing.
I know. His sister-in-law found out on Facebook, and she called me crying.
Okay, this is gonna be a crazy question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, but like, is there part of you that still loves him?
No, that's what I realized, and the reason I can say that so honestly and answer it so quickly and truthfully is because I've done 4 years with a shrink, a psychiatrist. And when she told me something, it killed me for days and days. And it was very hard for me to understand it, but she was right. You go in with the best intentions. I loved with every part of my heart. This man, the man that he presented before we got married, was perfect. And I'd never been so in love. I got pregnant so easy at 40 and easy at 42. I never tried. It was just like, I think it was just extreme love. For men, it's different. It's sperm, right? For women, we're the ones who have to have the bodies to accept, to adapt, to create, procreate. Right. So I was just crazy in love. And she said to me, do you understand? Because I had to have 4 years to unwind everything, because I was not Jillian Barberie anymore. I was a shell of myself. I was like, that girl doesn't exist, because you get told every day that you're not, like, you're just nothing. And so you start to believe it. Or you talk too loud, or you're too fat, or you're too thin, or you don't do the dishwasher right, or you don't feed the cats right, you don't put the diapers on the kids right, you don't feed them the right way. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Then you get silent treatment. You don't know why. And you're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Because you don't know. Like, anyway, so she said, she had to unravel my mind. And she said to me, you have to understand that he never loved you. And I was like, but yet what? And I'm like, but wait, no, we fell in love in Spain. And we did. She goes, you fell in love in Spain. He created that environment to get you. And once he got you, she goes, when did it start? I go, the next day. The next day, we were at Heather Locklear's house on our wedding night. The next day it started, the verbal. And I thought it was funny. I thought he was kidding. He was not kidding. And that was going to be the next 7 years of my life. However, I didn't understand what was happening for a few years. I was busy with babies. I just knew he wasn't nice to me. I didn't know what it was. So yeah, it took me a while. And I believe her now. And the truth is, she said he loved to his capacity, but it's right. Not a real, I do anything for you love. Oh God, no. It's what can you do for me? What I am, you're the host and I'm the feeder, the parasite. Right. So yeah, when I figured all that out, I was like, she was right. And I'm able to say it and move on and be okay with it. Yeah, it's very amazing.
you deserve love. And I think that all of us sitting on the sidelines are like, come on, Jillian, you can do this. You can do this. And you talk about being celibate for 10 years. But I mean, and I imagine the freedom is intoxicating of doing your own thing at your own time. I dream about that
I don't,
myself. But
yeah.
I feel like you need to be with like some really hot guy who's like really good to you, and you can travel with them and you can go have
But
French 75s together. Okay, because I love those drinks too. But like seriously, you deserve that. Why are you
well,
so closed off?
I think uh I'm not closed off to it. I just don't want it. I think if you don't want it, you don't put yourself out. I have no desire to sleep next to a man ever again. It's been 10 years. Want I don't want to feel a man next to me. I don't want to go out with a man and be like, how many brothers do you have? And tell me about your parents. I don't care. I don't give a flying fuck. I've got my kids. I've got two parents. I have two families. I have my birth family, and I have two birth sisters, same mom and dad. I have another family that adopted me, and I have so much love, and I have my painting, and I love being alone. I think people don't realize, especially when I moved to Montreal, that was a different province. Okay. So I was, born in Toronto, grew up outside of Toronto. My birth family ended up being together. Like they married after they gave me away, and then they had two daughters.
Right.
So
Crazy.
I go to Montreal. I don't know anyone. I make friends very quickly. But at first, you go to restaurants by yourself. It's very cosmopolitan. You bring your own wine. I had such a fucking great time. I was 20, 21. Then I moved to Miami. I didn't know a soul there. So I went to dinner all the time by myself. If I wanted to go to a movie, I'm so used to being by myself. I like myself.
I like it too. I would like myself if I were you too. You're interesting as hell.
Well, you like yourself.
I listen, I love being alone. And it sometimes pisses my husband off. Like he doesn't get it. I want to be alone. But
I get it.
But I was thinking in my head today, like if I were you, I would want to be alone too, in a sense, because you are really interesting. Like you could you sit in front of the camera and you could just talk and talk and talk, and the endless stories too.
I
Because
do a
it's
story.
almost like, look, we've all had like different eras of our life, but you have
Yes.
really had sort of like these markedly different portions of your life.
It's true.
Like you've lived a lot. I mean, from the beginning with the adoption and then the
Yeah.
TV career, which by the way, like I don't think should be done for you, even though TV's kind of, but like there's other stuff like this. And you have to write a book. We're going to get into that in a second.
Well, I had a woman approach me, and she's written a wonderful 20-page foreword about, it's not about Hollywood because you dip into that. But my life is mostly about surviving. And I always say I came out of the womb with my fists like this because now there's studies done, and I didn't know about this. And I literally found out about it this week. I literally found out that children who are taken from their birth mothers, meaning that whatever that stuff, that vernus stuff that's on them, their smell, and they're gone.
Right.
There's something psychologically happens to them. And I was never one. I was always like, oh, shut the fuck up. I remember one time Dorothy had mentioned something like this on the air. And it was about somebody who had that happen. And I said, it was about breastfeeding. And I'm like, I was never breastfed. My mother held me for 3 minutes and had to give me to the nuns. And I'm right where you are, like meaning what's the difference?
Right.
And I was also offended, Well, now we're great friends. But back then I was like, fuck you, lady. And but now, hey, she's onto something there because there are now studies coming out about all this, and not just breastfeeding, but that initial taking of the child, the smells, the sensory, all that little thing is known for that time is now gone. And I was in foster care for a year and a half, 5 families, and I did find some of those letters. But when I met my birth mom, it was the greatest thing in the world. Like, how could I was like, I'm a fucking rock star. Like, she opened the door and she was like, I had just come from Good Day LA, and she looked me up and down and she goes, I gave the wrong one away. Greatest sense of humor.
I love it. Right. You got it from her, clearly.
Clearly.
And then one of the producers was with you. I thought this was really cool too. It's like, they was like, wow, you guys walk the same. You and
Yes.
your mother.
Steve Edwards.
Oh, it was Steve
Yes.
who said it.
Steve, one of my sisters, and I can't remember which one. I think it was maybe Susie. She could have been Amy, but she was walking, and Steve goes, he goes, "Oh my God!" I go, "What?" And he goes, "It's you. It's your walk." I go, "Really?" He goes, I'm kind of, yeah. And I would see little things, and I go, "Oh, like that's cool." I never met my birth dad. His side is incredible. I'm in contact with all of them because they're all in London.
But
And
did he pass away before you had the chance
he
to
did
meet
pass
him?
away, but
Oh, I'm
he was an
sorry.
artist. He was an
That's
artist.
where you get that side.
He's a really good artist, though. Like and so he didn't get to know all of this, but his cousin Linda, so she was with Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones, and they have a son.
What?
And then, I know. And then she married Donovan, the singer, and they've been married for 52 years, and they have 2 daughters. I met Linda and Donovan. Donovan I interviewed.
Wait, this is your aunt?
She's a cousin. My cousin.
Your
Second cousin.
Your dad's sister's daughter.
My dad's, okay, so her mom and my dad's dad are brother and sister.
Oh, I see. Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah. And so I did end up meeting Brian Jones' grandson. So his name's Jules Jones, and he has music. We didn't really talk about Brian a lot, but he was coming out to LA. And, I said, I know the guys from Guns N' Roses and, guys from Ozzy's band. And he's like, oh my God, I would die to meet them. Here's this guy, he's pedigree of the Rolling Stones. And he's so excited. Like he's 23, He's just an absolute sweetheart.
So you set them up. Did they all meet?
No, because someone passed in my circle. Someone passed away, and I couldn't meet them. And they all went to. He played a gig with Donovan. I want to say the Viper, maybe not the Viper, but maybe the Baked Potato, something. Because he accompanies Donovan. Donovan adopted him because Brian Jones died at 27. Brian died when Julian, his son, was 5. When my cousin married Donovan, he adopted Brian Jones' son. It's such a beautiful.
That's wild. And do you want to hear something else wild? Totally off base, but because I know you're so close with Heather.
Yes.
Was sort of like, I think you guys are sort of like sisters, it seems like.
Yes.
And seeing the two of you together.
Yes.
This is the most random. I was at Heather's wedding to Tommy.
Oh my!
Wasn't it North Ranch Country Club?
Yes. How were you at Heather's wedding?
I was.
You must have been 2.
I was like my 5th grade boyfriend. Okay, his parents were friends with them, so I remember going there. Of course, as a 5th grader, you don't know that much, but thinking like, oh my God, they are like the coolest of the cool.
Oh my God. Well,
I'm sure there were platters of like white stuff just being passed around,
That is so insane.
How awesome is that?
Well, I've got to tell you the funniest story, knowing her mom and her dad really well, Diane and Bill. Bill just passed, but he was a Marine and a very conservative Marine. And Tommy, when she was dating Tommy, and he came to the house, and Diane still lives in the house. It's down the street from me. I visit her all the time. She's amazing. Lives there by herself. It's the house that they all grew up in. And she said all that Bill could hear was jingle, 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 because Tommy's got earrings and bangles and bracelets. And Bill turns the corner and he goes, "Who does that belong to?" And the 3 sisters were sitting there, and Heather goes, "Me."
That's hilarious.
Heather was the sweetest. Her mom goes, she never gave me, the other 2 were nightmares. She never gave me any issues,
But she liked the bad boy.
Yes, exactly.
Love the bad boy. Yeah, I like the bad boy too.
I guess I do too, but I don't like any boys right now. But you like them to look like a bad boy, but be a good boy.
Be a good guy. Oh, it's 100% it. Like a softie on the inside. You and Heather. Okay, I'm just going to throw a couple more things out at you. You and Heather. So I remember also David Spade was obsessed with you. Do you remember he used to come on the show or call or something? What was
Yes,
that?
all the time.
And then
Heather
did you
dated
date him?
David.
And Heather dated him.
Yeah, we both did.
So he's a lucky man.
We both love Heather. Heather and I both love David Spade and Charlie Sheen because she worked with both of them. She loves Charlie and
But did
everything
they
that
never dated?
Oh no, they were just super good friends.
Okay.
Yeah, Heather is like a sister, and her mom calls me the fourth sister, and the youngest. But they're just a great family. I've been able to spend Christmases, and I've always been that surrogate. Like when I was with the Kardashians, I spent every Christmas with every Easter with them. I was the single one, and it was before their show, right? So think Kendall and Kylie were 7 and 8 or something, and they were always trying to set me up, but I was always like, nah, nah, nah. Then I met my husband at the time.
Right.
Then I met my ex, and I would bring him over there. So,
did they like him?
You know, it's interesting. Chris is very vocal. She had a baby shower for me, and Heather was there, and it was scorching hot. It was at her house, one of her houses in North Ranch. I went through 3 of them with her, but anyway, Us Magazine was there, Us Weekly, and you know, I guess usually at the end of a shower, the husband comes. I didn't know. I don't know anything going into this. I never thought anything about marriage growing up, right? So I always thought about a career. So my assistant at the time's like, well, he has to come here. I go, oh, and I got all, I was like, no, he's with his friends right now. No, he's not going to come. I'm like, I can't. Liz goes, I'll call him. I'm like, I don't want to call him and ask him because I'm afraid of him. So Liz calls him. He's like, I'm not fucking going there. And Kris Jenner goes, give me that goddamn phone. And she ripped him a new one, and he showed up.
With flowers?
I don't know what she said to him, but he listened. She's a tough woman. She goes, you will not humiliate her. Us Magazine is here. You take pictures of the husband comes at the end. No.
Oh.
Yeah, she was brutal.
Just like had set the scene for she controls the environment, it seems, or you would know much better, obviously, but it has worked for them in every capacity.
It works for them. In fact, there were times I would be there and I would show up and there was Bruce in the garage playing with his plane, little helicopters, because it was just a sea of girls inside. You know, Kendall and Kylie screaming and running around with their new puppy. And so doing this and so. It's very different now, I imagine. I have not spoken to them. I went to Chloe's wedding and Kim's weddings, but I have not spoken to them since like their, huge fame.
But why?
I saw Chris 5 years ago at a dinner. Yeah. Too many people network to get to them. It's like the Lauren Sanchez thing now, right? Like, yeah, I worked with Lauren and I was at Lauren's wedding to Patrick. I'm not invited to this one. Fame has a hierarchy. And 100%. When you're you know this. And so people say, are you going to Lauren's wedding? Oh, probably not. Like, I mean, just because I was at her first one doesn't mean I'll be and then of course I see Chris and her, like, I'm like, they're at the same level. So that's why Kim is at her shower. They don't really know, they're getting to know each other, but it's like fame loves fame. It amplifies fame, which
Correct.
Means more pictures and more fame. It's that it's that hierarchy that there are levels of fame. And once you're at that certain level I don't have no desire. I've never had a desire to be a super level of fame. Never, Jillian, never.
I wanted to tell you this at the beginning of this interview because I was actually like really intimidated to kind of, I've met you before, I think years ago, but when I saw you at Lisa Breckenridge's lunch, I thought, I'm like a little nervous. I don't know. I didn't really know you personally. And you are the nicest, most open person. You could be a bitch if you wanted to any.
Oh, I could not. I don't know how.
It's not in your makeup. It's not. We're like the first 2 getting drinks. Like you were so generous with.
But you're the same way. It's easy and same with Maria Menounos. And I use her as an example because she's so beautiful. And super kind. You're beautiful and super kind. People think beautiful women want to be bitchy to other beautiful. I'm the opposite. I'm like, oh my God, she's gorgeous, And I remember seeing you and I was like, she's gorgeous. And then I started seeing you obviously on your channel. with these cute outfits. I was like, oh my gosh, oh, that looks so good. Does anything look bad on her? Oh my God, this looks so good. Like, you're just gorgeous. And you could be an asshole. You're not.
I think I'm rare in that sense, though. I really do. Because, like, I don't think a lot of girls are like us in that sense.
Correct.
They get nervous and want to hold, but it's a lesson. You know what? If there's more women like you around who who encourage others to kind of come to their level and like be there, then it would be a much happier place.
You know, if you're a good person, like, this is the one thing I never have to worry about. When someone comes up to me and says, or on my live, they're like, I met you once I never have to worry if I was an asshole.
Oh, totally.
And the best example of that, I was at Channel 5 and Jessica, the girl who does the mornings,
right?
He came up to me and she was so popular. And she said, I have to tell you a story. I was a waitress at whatever, and I waited on you. And I asked you, I wanted to get into your business. And she said, you talked to me for 15 minutes about it. And I was like, sounds like me. I go, was I drunk? But yeah, and I've had that happen to me with really like Sabrina Soto's on HGTV. She waited on me once, another one at the Roosevelt. And when I hear these stories and I see these women move on and they're on TV, it makes me so happy. Because I will tell you, there are a group of women, and the older you get, the older I've found. So you're not in that, you're not old enough yet. And same with Maria Menounos. I talked to her about it. You find this level of, you know, it's a complete support system that lifts you up. Lisa Guerrero is one of them, beautiful on TV. She's 60 and has been on TV.
She's not look it. Wow.
She's a knockout.
Yeah.
And the nicest woman ever. Also, Dorothy. I've known her forever, you know, and Dorothy and I had a rough start.
Oh, I know. I remember it. You guys used to fight on air, and I was everywhere. That was part of the dynamic that people love to tune into. Like, is it real? Is it fake? Is it real? Yeah. But the thing is, there was like this underlying tension from what I remember. Oh, and now you guys are thick as thieves. And she's also unbelievable, in my opinion.
Unbelievable. So supportive and so lovely. And yeah, I think you get to a certain, look, her and I were ousted and it brought us together. Actually, Steve brought us together, getting Me Too, kind of brought us together. And also what happened, because they did a Steve reunion show, and I told you they cut out all me and Dorothy. It was a 20-year show. Let's celebrate Steve's 20 years at Good Day LA, but do not include any clips of Jillian or Dorothy. They said the editors had to go through bullshit. They're like, oh my God, how can we do this? They cut 18 years out of this 20-year, celebration, but it's life. And again, that took me a few years, just like the divorce. It took me a few years for it to really get it. And, it was like I created a party that I got kicked out of.
Yeah, they did you dirty. I'm sorry. Let's be real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was, and then, do you know why, like, they started
getting
rid of you guys in the first place?
I think I haven't really gotten an answer, but they got new management in. And when they bring in new management, they like to put their stamp on things. Like,
oh, correct. Yeah.
Some of them do. Some of them don't. We had one guy, Dave Boylan, came in and said, he came from Philadelphia. He goes, I don't know what the hell's happening here, but I want in on the fun. And he had the best attitude, and our show was great. The others come in and go, whoa, 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 with egos and want to swing their dicks around. They ruin everything. And so, it's tough. And I think women can be very tough on women in the business. And, as a boss, I've been very lucky to have amazing bosses. I had a great boss in Miami, Joel Cheatwood. I had a great boss here in LA, Jose Rios.
Love him.
He's the best. And, when you get lucky like that, you just, you're lucky enough to go with the flow. It's just funny when I think back to all of those times. But didn't you fill in too, like Lauren Sanchez did?
Yeah, I filled in for you one time, and then I said something about the Inland Empire, and I'm like, well, nobody lives there anyway. And it was like, Or I might have even been like, who would live there anyway? And then it was like, you're out. No,
Oh
but
God.
it was such an awesome experience for me. I remember it was like a full circle moment, like growing up, wanting to have that same role and then filling in but and then I went to CNN in Atlanta, which was its own boot camp. Wait, can we say one thing about Lauren Sanchez?
Yeah.
Because she was always so sweet too. But like, can you
Yeah.
believe she's marrying basically the second richest man in the world? Is it in the
Oh yeah.
world or America?
She's a
Like,
fucking shark. I'm gonna write a book. Listen to this. I'm gonna write a book, and it's gonna be called "I Should Have Listened to Lauren Sanchez." That could be the name of my fucking book.
I know some of the advice she gave.
Oh yeah. And
We
I
both,
would
yeah.
sit there and go, "You're so funny." I thought she was being funny. Oh no, she's a shark.
Yep. Well, I hope you show up to this wedding, invited or not. All right. Lastly, I want to ask you, because I know we talked about it loosely at lunch, but I really do think you need a book like that. Can that happen for you? Because of all the stories from the Tates, your
You know
relationship
what's
with Jen.
crazy?
What?
I had this woman. She worked at like Vibe magazine. She did a lot of hip hop in the 90s. She worked at Mademoiselle. She was a great writer, right? Giselle. And she messaged me one day and she said, I listen to your stories and it needs to be in a book. So we started talking and I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like, she's like, do you want me to send you over some stuff I've written? I'm like, well, if you've written in Vibe and Mademoiselle, it's all good. Like, I like both, so it's all good.
Right.
And so she started, I would just talk into my phone and tell these stories. And once I started telling some of the stories, I was like, oh my God. And then that reminded me of this. And then, oh my God. And then Pam and I were at a strip joint together. And then, okay. So she loved it. But I said, I don't want it to be focused just on the famous people's stories, right? It's got to be a story about coming out, a fighter, and what that means to grow up in that kind of family and what it means to grow up. Like, I love that family, but there were extended people in that family that weren't great to me. And so having that toughens you up. And then I was very independent as a child. I had no problem leaving home, no problem as a teenager. And moving to a different, I was so excited to be on TV doing the weather, by the way, boring,
which morphed into so much more, right?
It just, you know what? I try to make it a party wherever I go. I don't know.
And that's it is one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then, okay, so
a book, we shopped it. She sent it out to a few people, and the thing that, okay, this is one thing we were told, and I just think it's absolute bullshit. They like a theme, like Jenny McCarthy had her pregnancy theme, and it was belly laughs, and oh, I pooped when I had a baby. Okay, right. They want a theme. And I said, mine is not a theme. The theme is me. It's my life. And the ups, the downs, and the everything in between. And Hollywood is just a backdrop. I may pepper in some stories here and there, but it's truly a story about survival, both literally and figuratively.
Right.
How to survive sex abuse as a child, how I survived cancer. Although I don't put that on me, that's on God and my surgeons, right? However,
how you survived Hollywood, which has been brutal.
100%.
Right.
Exactly.
The divorce, like all of it. And you just keep kicking and coming out the other side.
Yeah.
I remember Howard said, because I also love Howard. And that's like, the fact that you were on 4 times is amazing, but they're also really lucky
4
to have
times?
you.
Have you ever been on anything?
No, I mean, that would be my like bucket list.
Love you.
I love him, obviously.
He loves people who love him. And I think because I've always been there from the beginning when he was hated, like in the early 90s.
Right.
He was hated, and I loved him. And he was such a pariah. Nobody talked about him. He's like, this girl, she actually likes me. But
wait, I feel like he would have, because you were around even before Beth. How many years ago?
Yeah, but he was never interested in me that way. He always jokes about it on air. But I tell you what, if I would marry, if I ever married again, it would be a Jewish man, because every Jewish man.
I got him for you. You just tell me what I got him for you. Well, no, Jewish men are good men.
Here's the problem. I really fell for a Jewish man who was the bad boy. So he did have the tattoos. He couldn't be buried.
I've got plenty of them. Wait, hold on, okay. Jillian, who?
I don't want to say who, because he ended up marrying the girl that was the assistant on our show. Andy Lassner.
Oh,
He
wait,
produced Ellen.
who did he marry?
I did a show with him called The Test. I was head over heels for Andy. He ended up marrying this sweet girl who ran scripts and did all that.
On your show, The Test?
Yes. And they've had twins since then, 100%. Yep.
OMG.
And Howard Stern, of course. Howard.
And Howard.
I love Howard. Even with
You
all of
and
his
Howard.
neuroses,
Yeah.
I love him. But Beth, let me tell you, Beth is perfect for him because, you know, he could never handle the chattiness. I mean, Beth is zen. She's sweet and kind. And it's not that I'm not kind. It's just that I'm more abrasive. I'm more like him. I'm more that's why we love Howard. Howard doesn't want to be with a Howard. Howard wants to be with that sweet zen. And not that she's a pushover. She's got her own opinions, but they are perfect together for that reason. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Like she packs his diaper bag. Remember they talk about that? I don't know if I'm packing my husband's diaper bag. Even though he's desperate to have me do so.
Oh, I bet.
Because his mom was not Jewish and she passed away. But anyway, his dad was. So he has it in him. He has all of it. He has the alcoholism. I got it all in one place.
You need to write a book, my friend.
I'm so boring. No, literally. I pull the interesting stuff out of others and you don't even need it. I don't even have to tug it out of you. It's just there. I'm adjacent. I'm Hollywood adjacent. I'm not that.
I think you're very interesting because people, how you say this, you get a lot of beautiful people, pretty people, dime a dozen, especially in Hollywood. My goodness. I never looked at it that way. I remember having dinner when I first moved here. This man came up to me and he said to me, honey, you've got it and you better use it. Do you know who I am? I'm like, no. He told me his name. Still didn't know. He left. And his name was Jay. He managed a Farrah Fawcett. He always wore blue glasses, whatever. The biggest compliment I ever got was because, like, I revere old Hollywood. Like, I love but movies. I got a headshot from Robert Evans. Okay, the Bob Evans, right. Rosemary's Baby, all those great movies. And he wrote, to Jillian, hopefully number 8. Because he was married to Catherine Oxenberg and they had just broken up. So I talked about it on the air. And of course, he's living at that incredible house with something wood. I don't know. Anyway, Jack Nicholson bought it back for him when he lost everything. And he got very old. And so the man who looked after him would say, you know, Bob's ailing and and essentially he passed. But we had kept up a little bit through Twitter when Twitter was a thing back then. So fabulous. So those moments for me.
I was thinking he was the guy at the restaurant who said you got it. And like he heard you on air. That would be a real story. You can put that in the book and just based on truth.
Yeah, but the guy's name was Jason. He was big for hot, beautiful blondes in Hollywood. So Farrah Fawcett and, you know, all that 70s, right? Like he was dressed kind of but if it was Bob Evans coming up to me, I would have left with him.
Yeah. I love it.
I love
no
Bob
shame.
Evans. Yeah.
Okay. I think I got as much as I possibly can because I want to be respectful of your time also, but just know that I'm an ultimate fan, but also just feel grateful that you would do an interview like this with me. And so thank you.
Pleasure to be
the way.
I'm so happy that I ran into you at Lisa's birthday because it's so wonderful to see faces that you haven't seen in a long time and catch up and with good people to know that they're still out there doing this. It makes me so happy. So it's a pleasure to talk to you. I think you're terrific. You were always one that stood out. You, Maria Menounos, you guys always resonate with me, always.
I love you.
Keep up the great work.
Much. And let's continue conversation because I really could sit and talk to you for 5 hours over French 75s because I do love those too. So when I heard
100%, Heather Locklear, myself, and Nurse Mal, who gives me the shots that make me.
Oh yes, yes.
We have a podcast coming out, so
I'm so excited. I'm excited to hear it. I really am.
I'll tell you more about it. We'll get closer. I'll ask you, and you'll come on. Okay.
Okay. Amazing. Thanks, Jill. Love you. Mwah. Good luck.
You too. Everything. Thanks for having me on, Adrianna. I really appreciate you.
Same. Thank
you.
Bye, honey. Bye bye.